Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Talk. We have a very special guest for today. She has a master's in business administration, certified professional life coach. She helps women and empower women to achieve their goal. A very inspiring individual. Let's all welcome. This is a tricky part for me, the last name, okay? So let's all welcome Miss Lisa OGLESBEE. Was that correct?
It works. It works.
Welcome to the show, Lisa. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Creative Talk.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you for spending the time and being with us in this wonderful episode. We are excited. And I know our listeners and our viewers are excited to know what your story is. So, Lisa, tell us your story. Share us your story, what you do, and who influenced you, what influenced you to be the great and inspiring person you are right now. you know how I raise the bar and then just throw it.
Yeah, let's hear you tell it because I think it will come out better that way. Well, I've always had what I thought of as like kind of more realistic mindset, but it was actually very negative. And so I always kind of struggled with anxiety, but as I got older, it became worse, more and more anxiety, which led to depression. And, no matter what I did, I had the master's degree. I was working as a paralegal. I was doing, intense and interesting legal work. And I got certified to do that and, just would keep trying to grow, trying to do more things, and still felt like it wasn't enough, that I wasn't living up to my potential, that I was lazy and a disappointment and just so much, anxiety and pressure that I was not enjoying my life and I was very miserable. And so, I ended up having chronic pain as well. So this is a long story, but so once I started having the pain, then I was like, I can't manage anxiety, depression, OCD, and chronic pain. I have to get help.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. And, I thought that was weak. I was like, I don't want to get help. I don't want to take medication. So I finally broke down and did it. And then it was like this year's process of doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, medicine, physical therapy, mental therapy, yoga, meditation. I was doing all the things and I was just not getting better.
But let me just inject this question.
Yes.
Did you accept the fact that there's something wrong or you were in denial?
It took a while to be like, you have these mental health struggles. But I think that it was more about, just being able to ask for help.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the hard part.
There, what happened to your friends, the people in your circle? Were they not available to listen to you when you need them the most? Or because I'm looking at, of course I understand, and I was in the same situation back then, but this is my perspective of like a commoner, people that has not much of learning about this situation, that they would say, people that suffer depression are just, making things up, so my question is, what happened? There was a time that you shared this with your friends? Did they listen, or did they not took it seriously, that end up suffering more?
I did have a few friends that I opened up to a bit, and it wasn't about them. It was about my own thoughts and feelings. And so, my thoughts were, I've been able to get more education than them. I've had these opportunities and, in some cases, my job, paid more. And so to me, it was like, how can you tell them that you're depressed when you have so much?
Ooh, actually, I was thinking about that. You have a lot. And let me use the word, you're blessed, a good education, opportunities, and like what you've said, you've earning a good amount of salary. So
Mhm.
let's put that in the perspective of in the category of you're doing good in life, right?
Right.
So what
Exactly.
happened? What happened? Where did that came from?
Yeah, and that's kind of the situation there that a lot of people get in is you have all these things that people say should make you happy, and so then you can't tell anyone that you're not. Like, it's hard to reach out for that help because you don't want to look ungrateful. And that was another way that I judged myself and made myself feel worse, was by telling myself you should be happy. You're ungrateful.
Oof.
On top of
Oof.
everything else, you're ungrateful. So yeah, a lot of very negative inner talk. um, there
And then that's very interesting, and I'm learning a lot now. Wow, that's heavy. I can feel the heaviness of that situation. And then what happened?
Well, I just, I got to this point where it was just like, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Something has got to give. And I found a podcast by a life coach. I know,
Wow.
right? A podcast. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I started listening and I was like, this all makes perfect sense, but I couldn't apply it. I was like, I'm not making it stick. And so I reached out to her, and it wasn't a good fit for her, and which was actually good because I reached out to her and she told me what it cost. And
Wow.
I was
Okay.
like, oh dear goodness, I'm glad she rejected me because that is way too much money, right? A
Right.
few months later, things are just as bad or worse, and I reached out to another coach and it was actually the same price, and I was like, take my money. I can't go on like this. And it was the best decision, best investment, best money I ever spent.
Wow. So you can say that um a podcast and those coaches were the turning point. They were the element that influenced you in, who
Absolutely.
you are today.
Yes, exactly. And and that's why I also have a podcast where I talk to coaches and help them get their message out, because I think a lot of people don't know what life coaching is,
Mm.
and it's like a silly thing or something that celebrities do, or you have to hit this rock bottom like I did to get there. But it's really just an amazing tool to help you overcome these mindsets that we all have, that we don't realize how they're impacting us, physically, emotionally, and just our goals in our life.
Wow. Since you mentioned that, and I would like to, focus more on that, um, explaining and giving an overview to what a life coach is, so that our listeners, our viewers can have a proper understanding of what it really does. Why is it important? Because, like what you've said, there's a lot of people, there's like different types of perspective that they have. Like, first, it's something that is like what you've said, for celebrities only. It's a game. It's a job for, for the rich. And on the other
Mhm.
hand, it's like, okay, because you need to be, rock bottom to suffer something so heavy for you to be with in contact with a coach of like that. So, and with that thinking, it limits people. It limits people to really have a healthy mindset, a healthy life, because they're either scared or they have this wrong perspective of what a life coach is. So feel free to explain what really is a life coach.
Right, exactly. And people don't think twice about, someone hiring a coach for their body, right? And like you said, our life coaches for the rich. Olympians, right? Olympians, or Serena Williams, she has a trainer. She also has a life coach. Like, they have these coaches to help them excel and help them tweak their physical performance. Or even just like us, right? Just regular people. We'll if we want to go to the gym, right? And we're like, I'm not sure, this is not working. I don't know what to do. You hire a trainer. Or me, I have a trainer.
Exactly.
I've been working out for years. I know what to do, but it's really helpful to have someone else come in and make the plan for you, right? So it's interesting that you wouldn't do the same for your mental and your emotional health, right? And that's important. That's important for your physical health as well. And it's just something that, culturally or in society hasn't really been prioritized. So, what is a coach? A coach is a person, usually with certification and training in, either coaching or psychology, positive psychology, things like that, they come in and they're able to offer you that objective insight when you're sharing things with them and you don't see your mental blocks, right? You don't
Ooh,
see these things that you believe, especially when it's about yourself, that are not true. And you
wow.
you, you get stuck in that. And a coach, they come in and they're like, oh wait, let's question this belief that you're having. And they help you, see it in different ways. And once you're able to do that, those thoughts that are holding you back, those negative mindsets, they start releasing, right? They start loosening up, and you can work through them and change them so that they're not limiting you anymore or causing you pain.
Wow. Well, it's more, while I'm listening, it's more of like battlefield of the mind. It deals with perspective, with mindset. So, in your experience, what's the greatest challenge that you have experienced? Let's not name, clients or like some of
Yeah.
the issues, but in your journey as a life coach, what was the most challenging part that you can share?
What is the most challenging part? I think probably, for for me and my journey, and then for my clients in their journey, is there is this belief, this self-limiting belief that so many of us have that we're not good enough.
Oof.
And it's really the root of so much of the anxiety and, what holds us back from being our authentic self, growing in our relationships, growing in our careers, pursuing the things we want. This belief that I'm not good enough. And, that's something that it takes a lot of work to unlock that. And even like with me, I still work with a coach. I'll not see I'll think, okay, well, I've accomplished all this and I've grown in all these things. But then another area or situation will come up and it's like, that belief is still there a little bit,
Right,
right?
right.
In
Yeah.
this area. And you have to keep working on it. So I think that is probably one of the biggest struggles for anyone, is if you have that underlying belief that you're not good enough,
Mm,
learning how to have compassion for yourself and understand that, that's normal. A lot of
mm-hmm,
people feel that way,
mm-hmm.
and that it's not true, and how to really accept that and believe it and apply it to your life so that you can, you know, be happy,
Right.
right? And go after your dreams without this fear that you're not good enough.
Well, yeah, and especially in this generation, right? Imagine the generation to come. Social media, it contributes a lot, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
if you're suffering in that mindset, let me just use that. If you're suffering in that mindset that you're not good enough, and then you have this feed in social media, those platform that throws you a lot of things, judging you. And I want to say this, that people in social media, which platform may be, it's very, especially in this generation, they're very quick to judge, right? So
Right.
yeah, judging in that perspective, that's a bad combination.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have that a lot with my clients. They think that they should be the should. I like to say, don't should on yourself, because it kind of sounds like an American another saying, and that's exactly that. When you should on yourself, you feel crappy, right? But they see these highlight reels, these feeds, and they're like, well, I should be further along. I should be where this person is.
Right.
And, even though we know that they're sharing the most positive things, it's still hard. There's still those self-limiting beliefs about ourselves that we believe. So we're like, well, but, I'm not good enough. There is truth here. And so, I'm comparing where I'm at to where I think they're at, and I'm not measuring up. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle for people.
Ooh, how do you address that? I mean, what are the basic steps in addressing that issue?
Well, when you're talking with someone, you start picking apart that mindset, that belief that this person or these people have something that they don't, or that they should have right now, right? You start, saying, well, you don't know where their journey is, right? You don't know any of the negative things that they had along there. And it's good that I know a lot of people that have done that, and myself having this journey as an entrepreneur, and knowing a lot of other coaches and entrepreneurs. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you see they're posting about their 10K month. That's kind of a thing for coaches. But I know from my experience and conversations with them about the nights eating ice cream and crying about how they had no clients, right? Nobody wants to talk about that, but
They only
that is
see the tip of the iceberg, right? They don't see the
exactly
actual core.
right. Exactly. And, it's something that I work with my clients is failure is a part of the process. It's
Oh,
is unavoidable, and it's good, right? You're not doing anything. You're not growing if you're not failing.
I love that. But a lot of people, first, they're afraid of failing. Second is
Yes.
the culture. eh, eh, the culture created this mindset that you shouldn't fail. Like when we were kids, remember going to school. If you fail, your parents will get mad at you. They will shout at you. You should have this grade. You should get this award. You should be competitive. And those are building blocks that, in a way, tells you I shouldn't fail, because if I fail, people will get affected. I'm not good enough. What's wrong
Mm-hmm.
with me? So what happens is that there's a lot of people really when they get in the stage that they're working, they're professionals. I may be wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the expert here. I think that's the reason why a lot of suicides are happening in professionals that are having so much sadness that they can't, that was
Wow.
contributed when they were a kid. Nobody listens, and they have this just closed mindset, and no wonder they just one time explodes, right?
Right. Yeah. We see failure as this horrible thing that must be avoided at all costs. And it can't. It cannot be avoided, right? Even when you're frozen and you won't take action because of this fear of failure, you feel like a failure for not taking the action.
Exactly.
So you take the action and you fail. You don't take the action, you think you're a failure. Failure is not a person. It's
Mm,
it's a thought, and then
mm,
it's also just an occurrence.
right.
So yeah, it's this whole, shift in mindset that failure is not bad. Failure is just feedback,
Mm.
right? You did something, parts of it, weren't perfect because there's no such thing, and you learn from it.
Woo.
So it's very important to change that mindset of failure being this horrible thing that means you're not good enough, or that you are a failure, and realizing that it's just feedback. It's just
Ooh.
an opportunity for growth.
I love that. So it's like knowledge bomb after learning from you. Well, wow, that's nice to think that it's so early in the morning and you're doing good.
Right, right.
So uh let's say that you're accepting. I love the perspective that you shared about accepting that failure. We should accept failure. It's part of the journey. You need to learn from it. Are those elements, if you practice those elements, those perspective, those mindset, um does that mean you will get a positive lifestyle?
Yes, absolutely. When you start learning, and it's a process, right? It's a mindset shift that you've had for all your life is a big thing. But once you realize that failure, unavoidable, part of the process, a natural and even good part, rejection as
Ooh.
well, unavoidable, it happens. Doesn't mean anything about you personally. Once you start, making those mindset shifts, it frees you and opens you to so much space
Mm.
for compassion for yourself and support for yourself so that you can, do those things, right? Even if you have those fears still, you're able to feel the fear and do it anyways.
Ooh, I
So,
love that.
and
Feel the
that's
fear and do it anyways.
Yes, that's actually a book by Dr. Susan Jeffers. So it's a fantastic way to look at it because a lot of times people they're like, oh, I don't want to have fear, I don't want to have anxiety, and I have to teach them. Well, overcoming those things is not about not feeling them. We're human beings; they're a part of life. They're going to happen. It's about building your strength, right? Just like working out. The more you feel the fear and do it anyways, it's like lifting the weight. And then the next time you come in, that's your warm up weight now. Well, it still weighs the same amount, but you're stronger. And that's how you overcome, as we like to say, anxiety or these fears is by experiencing them, right? And understanding the thoughts that are causing them and lifting that weight, supporting yourself through it, and it gets lighter and lighter.
Ooh, Lisa. Ooh. Solid content. I can't contain myself because, I know that it's very timely, especially in this generation, younger teens, kids, adults, they all suffer from this perspective, right? The fear of
Mhm.
failure, or they don't understand that failure is a part of growing, of your journey. And with the learning that you shared, I mean, it again, like what we mentioned earlier, it gives you mastering this, understanding this perspective, this mindset makes your life, well, not easy, but a positive one.
Right. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's the human life. It's going to be good and bad, right? You said,
Mm.
like, doesn't mean everything is just going to always be easy, but it's a completely different way of relating to yourself, other people, and circumstances that, allows you to have that core happiness and
Mm.
joy in your life.
Mm.
And, to know that, yeah, bad things might happen, but I can handle it and I'm going to be okay. And
Right.
having that security, that peace inside, it makes a huge difference in how you feel and how you approach everything.
Right. With that, Lisa, how would you live? What would you share? Tips to live a positive lifestyle, because that is a big chunk, and it really needs proper guidance for you to adapt, not to um, accept fear and everything, have a proper mindset. So give our listeners, our viewers, basic tips how to live a positive lifestyle.
Okay. The most important thing is to understand that it is a process and it takes practice. Not only do we have all these cultural and societal factors, but our brains are wired for survival. So the negative is most important to your brain. Things that your brain thinks are a threat to your survival. If something's good, it's just like, oh, okay, that was good. If something's bad, it's like, okay, we've got to think about this. We have got to
Wow.
avoid this. Exactly. It's about keeping you alive, right?
Ah.
We have to remember where the tigers are. We have to remember that if you eat those berries, you will die, right? This is how your mind is reacting to things like failure or rejection. And so it's ruminating and it's keeping those. And thankfully, even though that is how our brains are wired, and it's good, it's for our survival,
Yes,
just
yes.
we don't really need it so much these days, right? There's no tigers. And if you eat the wrong berries, you get to go to the hospital. So,
I don't think like people would go around and like, ooh, berries.
berries.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and they also wouldn't be like, berries, I could die, right? But you get that email from your boss that's just like
Yeah,
one
yeah.
sentence, and
Right,
it's
right.
then those are the bad berries. It's like,
Ooh, I love
I'm gonna
that.
lose my job. Right? So, that's how it's adapted our brain in the modern world.
Mm,
So thankfully, we have the science of neuroplasticity now, and we know that we can rewire our brains, but it takes work. So it's a practice. So what they can do is, find a podcast, right? Find a resource. Yeah, exactly. Check out this podcast,
that's
my podcast.
I like how we promote it very smoothly to watch and support a podcast.
A podcast saying that podcasts are life changing. It happened for me, right? So I do actually feel good saying that. That's
Right,
where it
right.
started. A
And I
podcast.
agree. I totally agree, Lisa.
Can you believe it? Podcasts change lives.
Right,
That
right.
should be
So
that should be a podcast,
yeah,
right? Where
yeah.
you interview people about how a podcast changed their lives.
Mm. We
Oh,
could
we have an
start that.
idea.
We could start that.
We have an idea. I'm excited. Podcast change lives.
Yeah.
Amazing. But so, find a resource if you're not ready to invest, in money or a coach, find a podcast, books, get together with friends who are like-minded and, follow coaches, follow, Tony Robbins, leaders,
Ooh.
people who share this kind of information. So much free resources out there because coaches and people who work in these fields are generally people who want to help, right? So there's lots of free resources out there, and start just absorbing it. It's a practice. You have to absorb it. You have to be open to it, and be patient with yourself and realize that you can't rewire your brain overnight. You've had all these thoughts,
Yes,
and
yes.
this is the way your brain works for your own survival for all these years, and it's going to be a process. And then, I really encourage, of course, once again, smooth transition. If it's something that you are interested in, reach out to a coach, right? It doesn't have to be me. There are so many coaches out there. I think there's probably been other coaches on your podcast, coaches on mine.
Yeah.
Reach out to a coach because you don't have to continue with these blocks in your mind that are holding you back. You don't have to live this way, right? Another thing that we see on social media, other than everybody else's life is better than mine, is a lot of hustle culture, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone's exhausted, everyone has anxiety. It's normal. It is normal part of the human life, but you don't have to struggle and live in pain every day.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that wonderful perspective. Your story is inspiring, learnings, tips. Thank you, Lisa. I'm sure
Sure.
because I've learned a lot, and I'm sure our listeners and our viewers learn a lot as well. Thank you so much. You're such a blessing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate to be here today. It's so wonderful, and just really excited to be able to share. And I do hope it resonates with someone and helps them.
Yes, definitely. Now, we reach the
Yeah.
part that we will play a game. Okay. So the first part,
Oh boy.
learning after learning, inspiration, motivation. In this part, we will be silly, right? Why? This is the part where people, our viewers, our listeners will see that, Lisa, a part of being professional or life coach, is also a human being. She smiles, she laughs, and,
Right.
she doesn't know what to say. Why I say that? Because this game is called the Creative Fast Talk. Okay? You will be asked random questions that has nothing, no connection at all in our topic, in what you do, in what I do, in what this podcast is all about. Nothing. Like random questions. And it's so random that I did not prepare the questions. It's just given to me a while ago while we're having this interview by my team. All right. So that's how random it is. So
All right.
feel free to be, don't spend too much time in thinking about the question, and just first thing that comes into your mind, go and answer. All right.
Sail forward fast. Got it.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. Wait. Okay. Question number 1. Very easy. Lunchtime or dinner time?
Oh, whichever one is next.
So what in your perspective, that's what lunch, right? After breakfast? Right.
Yeah, I actually need to go finish my breakfast, but yeah, lunch would be next. So I am already excited about that.
Well, a follow-up question. What's your basic meal? Like a basic meal that you prepare that you love to eat?
I don't prepare meals.
So how do you eat? Do you look for berries?
Berries, right? I've overcome that fear, and now I can just eat berries with abandon. Yeah. So, I need to. I would like to get back into meal prep, which I used to do, but right now I'm lunches in the microwave. So, well, what I really like is snacks.
Okay,
So
what's your favorite snack? Your combo snack?
My combo snack. Well, right now I eat these things called healthy Choco Bites. And while they're supposed to be healthy, they're so delicious that I just eat a whole box of them. So that's probably defeats the purpose. But there's a promo, healthy Choco Bites.
Your next question, sorry. Your dream job ever.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, obviously now life coaching is so fun and amazing. Before that, and what I would still also love to do, storm chaser.
Storm chaser.
Yes, I wanted to be a storm chaser for years. Someone who, goes out and drives around and chases tornadoes and things like that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. What happened?
Well, self-limiting belief when I went to college and it was time to, take meteorology classes, I was like, I'm not doing that much math. I just want to be close to a tornado. I don't want to do all this math. So I gave up on my dream because of math.
Next. What is the thing that you are really scared of?
What am I scared of?
Yes.
Spiders.
Your favorite TV show?
That's so hard. That is a hard one. We'll just go with, let's say, Killing Eve. I love Killing Eve.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Text or call?
Text.
Tacos or pizza?
Pizza.
What is the name of your first crush?
Oh, wow. That shows my age, because I feel like that was something that I would have been able to answer. What was my first
like
crush?
the first ever, huh? First ever that you can remember.
First ever. Oh gosh. Let's have one of those things where missed moments. His name was Eric Allen.
Okay, paging Eric Allen. If you're listening to a podcast,
I've tried to find you, Eric Allen, on Facebook, but your name is Eric Allen. Come on. I can't find you, right? I just want to see, it was like second, third grade. He had spiked hair and a rat tail.
Wow.
I don't know if you know what that is, but yeah, it was just my first love, my first crush. spiked hair and a rat tail.
Did
And I
he
would
did
just
he
like,
ever talk to you?
yeah, yeah, he was my boyfriend, along with several other girls. He was quite the elementary school player. So
Okay, okay.
would like to see where he is now. Eric, where are you?
Eric, if you're listening or if you're watching, please send me a message, DM me. I would like to connect you to Lisa once again. Next, cappuccino or hot chocolate?
Hot chocolate.
Hair up or hair down?
Hair down.
Showers or baths?
Bath, hot bath, yes.
Oh, wow. Nice. All right. This is weird. This is weird. Toothbrush or soap?
Well, if we're talking about cleaning my mouth, a toothbrush. If we're talking about my body, soap.
But you need to pick one.
I need to pick one.
Toothbrush or soap?
Soap.
All right. Okay. Okay. Boxer briefs or shorts?
Stumped. Boxer briefs or shorts? Shorts.
The beaches or the mountains?
Yes. I love both, but the beaches.
All right. Hairy or shaved?
See, I feel like these need more details. Like, what are we talking about?
Mindset.
See, so many different perspectives that can come up here. Just gonna have to say hairy, natural.
Okay. That's fine. Lights on or lights off?
Off. See, you don't know what you're talking. You don't know what
Of course. Don't worry.
right?
Don't worry. This is a wholesome show. We're not gonna be going beyond. This is just the edge of it. Neck or lips?
Lips.
All right. What was the last live concert that you watched?
What was the last live concert I watched? Ooh. I should know
Do you
this.
ever watch a live concert, or it's not your thing?
I have. It's just been a long time. Maybe it was Britney Spears. I saw Britney Spears live.
Really?
You're laughing.
No, that's a laugh of joy. That's a laugh of joy. That's me appreciating Britney Spears.
She is an amazing performer, and that's what it was. It was something. It was a special event to go, to a live concert. And now you can't.
Oh yeah, but eventually. Weirdest food you ever experienced eating?
Weirdest food. That's hard. What would be the weirdest food? Weirdest food. I'm trying to think of nasty things because I'm sure I've had nasty things, but for some reason that's escaping me, right? My mind's so positive. I know that I went to this place and had this like soup. It was like a corn chowder soup, and it had some kind of like bacon flavored iced cream little scoop in it. So that's kind of weird, like a soup with ice cream in it. Anyways, it was very good, surprisingly.
Wow. If you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, who would it be and why?
Oh, wow. That's hard. That's hard. Like, yeah, I would not apply for God's job, right? Like, how would you? So many people, so many dead people to have the power to bring one back. So many dead
people. Who'd you pick?
Gosh.
There's so many dead people.
There's so many to choose from. Wow, that's a good question.
Imagine bringing someone back from the dead and spending a day in a coffee shop, who would that person be and why?
Hmm. That's hard. Yeah. Oh. Hmm. I want to say it kind of just comes to me. So, like you said, off the top of my head, but my mom's mom,
Okay.
because she died when I was like 9 years old. And so, it would be nice to hear about my mom from her and get that perspective, and then also learn about her, which would give me, insight into my mom who raised me, and, even how, my own life, how her life affected it. So I think that would be very interesting. And plus I would just love to, meet her again.
Oh, wow. So thank you. Thank you, Lisa, for answering those random questions. Thank you for sharing
Or
us your your wonderful perspective that really excite us to know that you, aside from, learning that you're a storm chaser at heart.
right. And I have actually been very close to a tornado. So dreams do come true.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, that's a good combination, though. You're a life coach, so you can, you can teach for people to embrace the fear and for them to be courageous in life. Because coming from you, who chases, tornadoes, storm, that's a very good example of a courageous woman. Thank you,
Exactly.
Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Feel free to promote your social media accounts. Do you have any projects, any releases, or anything that you want to promote? Our viewers and listeners are ready. The floor is yours.
Oh, yeah, sure. Please connect on Instagram. It's at Lisa Oglesbee Coaching LLC. Sorry for making it really, really difficult to spell. And then, you can find me on Facebook, my personal page, Lisa Nicole Oglesbee. Coaching page is Lisa the Life Coach. Feel free to connect. I try to give lots of free value there. And also, I have the two podcasts, Vibrant Life Allies, where I interview other coaches and help them get their story out there. So check that out. You'll definitely learn something like this. People come and share their own personal value, and then you might find a coach that you want to work with. My other podcast has a bad word in the title, so I don't know if I'm allowed to say
Go,
that on
go,
here.
go, go, go. It's all good.
Okay, my other podcast is called Love This Bitch, and I really go through a
I
lot of.
listened that. I listened to that. So.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, and I go through a lot of the things that I do with my clients. It's more of like a higher overview,
Mm,
but
mm,
for sure value and things that you can learn and apply there. So
mm.
I hope anyone, would check that out. And then, if anything in my story resonated with you, I have, 3-month and 6-month one-on-one coaching packages right now, and would love to, work with anyone who is ready to, stop living with that fear and that anxiety, and, enjoy their lives and achieve their goals.
Thank you, Lisa. Guys, please do connect with Lisa. She is an awesome human being, very inspiring person, and she is a courageous woman that loves berries. So please connect to Lisa. Thank you guys for joining us. Feel free to check us on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, YouTube channel, The Creative Talk. Guys, like, share, learn, and subscribe. This is John Santos with our awesome and wonderful guest, Lisa.